say. That pitch is taken for a ball, 2-0. The pitch, swung on and check swing, popped up over toward the first base dugout. Holmes comes over but can't make a play, and that'll run the count now to 2-1. One in the first, two in the fourth, three in the sixth have broken this one open for the Violets, and they lead 6-0. The pitch is up high for a ball, 3-1. Big batter here for Trapani as the count is corrected to 2-2. As Diana King on deck here for the Violets. The pitch swung on, grounded to second, played there by De Leon. She gets it over to first base in time for the final out of the inning, but not before the Violets add 3 on another Mary Tyndall home run. They lead by a score of 6-0, and we'll be right back. For a ball, 2-1. Patricia reached on an error and drove one deep into left center field, but one of several good outfield plays by the Violets. And now Patricia 0 for 2 on the afternoon. The 2-1 on the outside corner at the knees for a strike. 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, no one out here for the Dolphins in their half of the 6th. Ooh, close pitch taken just inside for a ball. That'll run the count full to 3-2. Zubale came in with a 1-1 record with just a .93 ERA. The Dolphins have been able to hit her hard at times, but have been unable to break through here with just 2 hits on the afternoon, as the count holds on Riches 3-2. Zubalik looking for the sign. The 3-2 swung on it, hit hard right to shortstop. That's going to be off the glove of Kennison. And Riches will reach base, and for the second time, she'll reach base on an error charged to Taylor Kennison, so the Dolphins get their leadoff runner on, trailing by a score of 6-0 here. Long way back to go for the Dolphins, Dave.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to join you now, six innings later, as our broadcast has been an absolute bear today. You know, maybe we'll blame it on the weather, maybe we'll blame it on poor and spotty internet, but it has been in and out all game long, and we do apologize. But as Mike was bringing it to you as best as he could, we were busy at work trying to tie down this internet connection that we have. We are at the mercy, as Mike mentioned, of a very cold afternoon, and we are exposed just like the players are. So it was really tough for us to really, you know, get on the air and stay on the air. But it looks like we've got a secured connection, and you know, a little bit of duct tape and some pliers, Mike, and you know, we found that's sports information director's best friend nowadays, and we hope to bring it to you stress-free the rest of the way, as we have a extended period here, Mike, as that ball did go off of the shortstop. You know, Kennison, you know, rather tough, and it looks like NYU may bring in a substitution. I know that the coaching staff was looking at the bench briefly, and we'll see what develops here. But as you mentioned, Mike, CSI with a long way to go, but it starts with one batter at a time, and Riches does what she needs to do and get on base.
Yeah, and, Dave, it's been really a tough afternoon for the Dolphins. They gave up that first run without the benefit of a base hit on a couple of stolen bases, and, both long balls by Mary Tyndall for the Violets, coming on 0-2 and 1-2 pitches, respectively. And, the Dolphins have done a pretty good job hitting Zubelake and hitting her hard, but the Violets also getting great outfield defense by all three of their outfielders and, really have helped her out here this afternoon. And, so far she's held the Dolphins to just 2 base hits.
Yeah, and I think that's the real key, is the way NYU's played, especially in the outfield. A number of times, you've said, oh, that one's hit well and it's hit far and it's caught. And it's, sometimes we take that for granted here, but on a day like this where the wind is blowing, it's not that crazy of a factor, but where the sun is out and it can get into the eyes of the fielders, the balls have been hit hard, and if you don't get a good first jump, Mike, you're not going to get those balls. NYU's done a really good job. Stefanelli and King and Maines in the outfield all doing great job, and that's why they're up 6-0 here.
So it'll be Jamie Holmes, the batter now, with Riches at first base. Holmes hit the ball to the left field wall in the first and to center in the third. She's 0 for 2 and falls behind in the count now. 0-1 is Holmes looking to extend that 5 consecutive games with at least a double streak here this afternoon, Dave.
Yeah, that's an impressive streak in its own right.
The 0-1 swung out, hit hard towards shortstop. Kennison bobbles once again. The throw over to second base is not going to be in time. So all of a sudden, a couple of tough errors by the shortstop, the freshman Kennison, might open the door a little bit here for the Dolphins, Dave, with no one out in the sixth.
Yeah, and that time the throw was there, but Yamamoto really, hustling, trying to get on the base. I think might have actually tripped on the bag itself, Mike, and that ball was never fully secured. So Dolphins catch another break, 2 ground balls, 2 runners on base, and nobody out here for Vanessa Joya. So this is, a number 5 hitter's dream right now. 2 players on, nobody out. There's definitely some wiggle room here for Zubelake, but the Dolphins have a long way back, but they're getting them one at a time.
As that first pitch is taken up high for a ball, 1-0, and Joya came into the game, Dave, batting .350, started off the season a little slow offensively, as did a lot of Dolphins, has picked things up lately and looking for a first hit here this afternoon.
Yeah, all these hitters trying to find some groove, and that one's hit sharp.
And that one's going to be into right field. That's going to be in for a base hit. Maines comes up throwing, but Riches will come home to score. Going to third base will be Holmes, and holding on first base with an RBI single will be Vanessa Joya. And Dave, Dolphins work their way back in slowly, now trail 6-1.
Yeah, they have a long way to come back, but they're still in business here. Runners at the corners. 1 run already in. All 3 of those balls hit hard, ground balls, but hit hard, and that one found a lot of real estate in the right side of the infield between Tyndall and Yamamoto, and looks like NYU wants their coaching staff to come on out. The home plate umpire telling the catcher she cannot approach the dugout. Coach has to come out. So now Ala James, the head coach, will have a visit here, and I think Kennerson just went into the dugout. She's going to come out. So Kennerson, who we saw on the first couple plays, Mike, commit errors on very, very sharp hit balls. The first one really came up and bit her a little bit, and I don't know if she's going in for an equipment change, but it looks like Coach James and the home plate umpire are exchanging information. So my guess is she's coming out of this game, Mike.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. Kennison's going to come out of the game, and the Dolphins are going to continue to try to work their way back into this game, trailing by a score of 6-1. That run, of course, will be unearned as the base runner reached on an error. But nonetheless, Joya will pick up the RBI, her 12th of the game, Dave. And, if the Dolphins could get a couple of more base runners in here, they could find themselves right back in the game.
Yeah, and, I don't think we expected to say this at this stage of the season, Mike, but CSI's hottest hitter is coming up to the plate, Gabrielle De Leon, a player who really was used very sparingly her freshman season, used a little bit more often her sophomore season, was pretty good, at the plate and in the field. And this year really has accepted a much bigger role. And to say that she stepped up has been an understatement. She's batting over 400 this season. She leads the team in RBI and now has a chance here with 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. And, you wonder how CSI is going to play this, Mike. I mean, Joya, has pretty good speed at first base. If they put her in motion at some point, trying to draw a throw that potentially could bring Holmes home. So that's an interesting thing, especially with a new fielder coming in the game in the infield. Will the Dolphins test here and try to put another runner in scoring position while getting one home?
Yeah, and the Violets have only thrown out 4 of 24 base runners defensively here in 2018. So let's see what the Dolphins look to do with De Leon. De Leon with one of the 3 Dolphin hits so far this afternoon. She singled in the second and grounded to second. She's 1 for 2.
And Mike, Clemens has moved over from third to shortstop. I'm not sure who's in at third. We're going to pick up a number for you in just a few moments.
As Zubalik winds, and that first pitch is down low for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, I'm being screened by the home plate umpire. I can't see a thing.
Let's see.
Is that Tyndall who moved over?
As that pitch is a swing and a miss, and that's going to even the count up 1-1. I'm trying to see.
I believe that's Tyndall who moved from first to third. It is indeed. So Tyndall goes from first to third, and now our job is to figure out who's at first. It's turning into an Abbott and Costello routine.
So 1-1 the count. The pitch is swung on, and that's drilled up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Coming in to score will be Holmes. Standing on second base will be Joya. 2 consecutive base hits by the Dolphins, and they have come back to trail by a score of 6-2.
Yeah, so a nice job that time. De Leon just keep making things happen, and the Dolphins now are within 4, 6-2. Still a long way to go, but the most important thing, Mike, is that the wheels keep moving. 2 runners on base, and now a big spot here for Olsen. And Mike, I'll mention that Courtney Friday has come into the game to play first base for NYU, so I believe we got all the substitutions in check.
As Friday at first base, and the first pitch now to Olsen is going to be taken for a strike, 0-1. Erica struck out and singled. She's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. One of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup for the Dolphins here this afternoon. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back, 0-2.
And one of 2 freshmen who's continuously getting more and more looks at the plate. Olsen has been used as a DP. She's also played some in the field.
So she finds herself down in the count now, 0-2. She was able to hit an 0-2 pitch for a single in her last at-bat. And the 0-2 is going to get away on the wild pitch, and both runners are going to be able to advance. And, Dolphins continue to put pressure on, and that time a little bit of an unforced error by Zubalik, and the Dolphins with 2 runners in scoring position and still nobody out.
Yeah, Zubalik wanted a waist pitch, and she went a little too high up the ladder. Sicasio had it bounce off the glove, and Sicasio does a good job of kind of eating that and not making a throw. Keeps the runners at second and third. They don't mean a tremendous amount at this point. If you're Zubalik, you want to attack the batter.
The 1-2 pitch to Olsen is swung on and fouled down the right field line. That'll be out of play, and the count will hold at 1-2.
Yeah, and for Olsen, that's her job now. She has to protect that plate, waste those pitches out of play if she doesn't like it, and then find one to drive and hit a line drive with here. So we'll see if she's successful.
So the middle of the Dolphin order, a couple of errors, a couple of singles, and a wild pitch. And as Dolphins find themselves down by a score of 6-2 with runners at second and third, nobody out, and Olsen finding herself down in the count at 1-2. Olsen winds the 1-2. is taken on the inside corner at the knees for a strike 3.
A little low for my taste, Mike. Erica Olsen is a very tall batter in that batter's box, and that was well below the knees. I don't like that call at all. That's the one vantage point that I have. I don't have a good sight line to third base, but you could see the heart of the plate, and you could see the batter's breast where I am, and yeah, that was a little low for my taste.
Yeah, so a tough strikeout on Olsen as she goes down for the second time this afternoon. I believe that's 6 strikeouts now for Zubelake, and the first pitch is a check swing taken for a ball, 1-0.
Might have gotten that strike back as Severiso looked to maybe go over that time, and instead it'll be a ball. So a little bit of a break here for Christina, who's in a big spot. Christina with 3 RBIs. Coming into this season, 2 runners in scoring position.
She's walked and struck out this afternoon as that pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen. That evens the count up at 1-2. She had a good cut at that one, Dave, but just missed it and fouls it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Kept her head straight in there and got a good swing on it. Get the feeling that Severizo is kind of on the cusp of breaking out. She's only batting a little over 100, but she's a much better hitter than that. The Dolphins know it's why they keep her in the lineup. The
windup and the pitch is taken for a strike, 1-2, and Severizo has been the flex player in a couple of these games. Coach Porto, Dave, deciding to flex Trapani on the mound and put Christina at the bat, and she's now down 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it's swung, and that's drilled into left center field, and that's going to be a base hit and go all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score. Severizo will stop at second base. It's a 2-run RBI double for Christina Severizo, and the Dolphins now trail by just 2, 6-4.
Yeah, and she trades places with De Leon, so now she's at second base with Cretella on, and all of a sudden now we got ourselves a ball game. That home run in the top of the 6th inning is proving to be huge at this point because it's been the difference in the game. The Dolphins get 4 runs back and are down by 2, and Cretella is the tying run, and she is at the plate here. And Mike, we still only have 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Zubelake had just allowed a couple of earned runs all year long. Just 2 of these runs earned so far. The wind and the first pitch is swung on and bounced back towards the pitcher. The underhand throw to first base will be in time, but going on to third base will be Severizo. And, you know, that was an interesting decision that time by Zubelake. She might have had to play at third. She chose to get the safe out at first base. So now the Dolphins with the tying run at the plate in Antoinette Galbo.
Yeah, well, it's the run at the plate that is the tying run. So she's the important one. And you know, Galbo, Mike, hit her first home run of the season against Brooklyn. It was an inside the park home run, as I'm led to believe. But she's got the wheels to beat something out small and has the power to get one out of here.
So 2 outs now for the Dolphins. A runner on third base. The pitch to Galbo is taken down low for a ball, 1-0. Antoinette 0 for 3. She lined out hard to right, flew to center, and popped to short. Big moment in the game here. Zubelake lines the pitch to Galbo. Swung on and a big stab up the middle that time, and she's able to underhand it over to first base in time for the final out. And that one was ticketed up the middle, Dave, but a nice defensive play by Zubelake, and that'll end the Dolphins' threat with just 4 runs.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play by Zubelake. She kind of just put her glove out there, found the ball, and saw it through. Beautiful defensive play. Saves her, gets her out of the inning. She doesn't yield an earned run, I don't think, in that inning, Mike, as the third out would have been made before the earned run started to come in. So, nevertheless, the Dolphins get 2/3 of the way back. Now they got to pick up 3 outs here in the 7th and try to, get some more good swings in their last licks coming up in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, and the Dolphins able to get back to the top of the order, so they'll give themselves an opportunity with the 2, 3, and 4 batters in the lineup, Dave. But first, Trapani has to navigate her way through the top of the lineup in Diana King, Taylor Kennison, and Claire Stefanelli. And, Diana King came in leading the Violets in batting this year, Dave. And, you know, she's stolen 3 bases this afternoon and scored the first run. So Dolphins with a little bit of business before they get an opportunity to bat in the bottom half of the 7th.
Yeah, it's a huge top of the inning. You got the top of the order upcoming for NYU. They've been good. And, you know, the Dolphins have to try and escape this one here. So if you're Nicolette Trapani, you're looking at this inning as being your biggest one of the game here. Your team is starting to break out the bats a little bit. It doesn't look like NYU is going to make a change at pitcher. So got to give yourselves a fighting chance. Keep NYU off the scoreboard here.
Yeah, and a real good defensive play that time by the Violets keeps this game a 6-4 Violet lead, as it'll be Diana King to lead off. King 1 for 2, reached on a walk and scored, reached on a fielder's choice. Actually, he's reached on a fielder's choice twice and stolen 3 bases in 4 attempts, and she gets ahead in the count now, 1-0. Trapani winds the 1-0 pitches on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1, and maybe the biggest pitch of the afternoon, Dave, was that big 1-2 pitch to Erica Olsen with no one out. As the pitch by Trapani is swung on, popped up over towards second base, and that one's going to be off the glove of DeLeon, and that's going to be a big 2-base error. I think it'll be an error, Dave, on DeLeon.
No
and
doubt about it.
That's not the defensive play, Dave, Dolphins were looking for in the 6th.
No, the only thing I'll give DeLeon there is that she was really busy trying to call off Jamie Holmes, and that might have, you know, broke her concentration a little bit. Otherwise, she had a good read on it, and that one just skipped right off the top of her glove. So that'll be a 2-base error, like you mentioned, and NYU back in business.
Yeah, big error that time to lead off the inning for the Dolphins. Puts King on second base with no one out, and that will bring up, I guess that's going to bring up the first baseman, Dave.
Yeah, that's Friday. Courtney Friday.
So Friday getting ahead in the count now at 2-0. See if we can get you some numbers on Courtney. She's batting .250, 7 of 28 coming into the game, and takes that pitch down low for a ball, 3-0. So 3 balls, no strikes to count to 3-0. Was taken for a strike, 3-1.
Looked like Friday was taking all the way there. Obviously hasn't swung at anything yet.
So 3 balls, 1 strike to count. King on second as she reached on a 2-base error, and the pitch is taken up high for a ball 4.
Yeah, so this has got to feel good here for NYU. You respond, you give up 4 runs, and now you got your first 2 runners on base here as Allison Schmoose will come in for NYU. This is going to be a pinch hitter, Mike. Schmoose wearing number 23. She's a junior.
And she's coming in batting .346 on the year, Dave. 9 of 26 with a double and 5 RBIs. And now it's NYU, Dave, with 2 runners on base without the benefit of a base hit here in their half of the 7th inning, trying to add some cushion to their lead after the Dolphins scored 4 in their half of the 6th.
Yeah, big at-bat here for Trapani, not having seen Schmoose before.
As that pitch is taken for a...
Absolutely dead to right.
Yeah.
So no shot at that one at all.
Yeah, as that time King got called out for the second time, she's going to be gunned down 2-5.
I believe that first pitch may have been a strike, too. I know we missed it here, so we'll get a ruling on it.
As the NYU coach is having a word with the...
I don't think there's any
third
question.
place
You know, obviously we missed the tag. We don't really see it much, but the throw itself was well in time.
I could see it pretty good from here, Dave.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty good to me. And, you know, I thought King might have had the benefit of a couple of plays at second base already that I thought were pretty close that went her way. And little unusual to see a batter standing on third base after she's been called out, Dave. And but she's going to be out 2-5 for the first out. And count goes up on the screen at 1-0, and now it'll be 2-0 as it'll be Friday down at second base. Boy, oh boy, I mean, boy. Two balls, no strikes is a little bit of a
well, the umpire is the game's supervisor has been kicked out for asking whether there was a ball or a strike involved.
Yeah, well, you know, it's I guess the count is 2-0,
and now our assistant SID Tom Krichkowski has to escort Anthony off the field.
Do we need
That's
to
a first?
Do we need to place a call to public safety for the?
Well, you know what ended up happening was the scorer's table didn't know what the count was to reflect it on the scoreboard, and the official was ignoring the table.
So Anthony Avina with his first ejection of the year, Dave. We're gonna get that in the stats. Ejection, Avina 1.
Tom Krichkowski showing muscle, having to escort Avina out, and Avina wasn't exactly kicking and screaming. So,
boy, oh boy,
that's an interesting one.
He'll have to go back to the warm confines of the clubhouse as he's ejected for asking the count.
Yeah, and you know, he was loud with the ump, but at the same time, he kept telling the ump, it's the scorer's table. It's the scorer's table. Please answer, and yeah, he got thrown out.
And the pitch is taken for a strike, 2-1. And
Mike, everybody's a little touchy here on this day. It's very cold out. You know, it's kind of miserable, the weather. And, I mean, you never know it watching the game because it looks sunny and it looks beautiful. It is it's atrociously cold out here.
Yes, that pitch is taken on the outside corner for a strike, 2-2. And
so everybody's on their last nerve, you know, between us and the internet, Mike, and Anthony and the clock, and gee whiz.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. The pitch is down low for a ball, 3-2. And you know, we always say it, Dave. You never know what you're going to see when you come out. when you come
should
out,
expect to see a softball game.
when you come out and do one of these games. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on. Or 1 on, I should say, in the top of the 7th. The pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 3. So nice job by Trapani to strike out Stefanelli for the 2nd out. And Dolphins trying to get themselves back in the dugout, trailing by 2, Dave, with the 2, 3, and 4 batters coming up for the Dolphins in their half of the 7th.
Yeah, that's a big out right there, Mike. You know, to get that lead runner out at third base and now a strikeout. Things went from looking great for NYU now to looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, NYU kind of running themselves out of an inning a little bit there, Dave, with 2 runners on and trying to send King to steal third as she gets caught for the 2nd time this afternoon. She had been caught only 2 times all year long prior to this afternoon, but Vanessa Joya showing a good arm behind the plate as that pitch is taken for a strike, 0-2. And you know, I mentioned before, Dave, I thought there were a couple of plays at second that were very close earlier where King was able to just get in ahead of the throw.
Yeah, and you know what? That's you know, those are some tough breaks for the Dolphins. Calls were made, and that one goes against NYU this time. But a great heads-up play by Joya on that play. We didn't mention that yet, but Joya never lost sight of what was happening on the base pads. That pitch came right in, and she was up and fired that ball into third base.
All right, I want that Dolphin check, Dave.
That is not Anthony.
I want that.
I know a fair amount about Anthony Avina. He's not getting into that thing. and listen, if that is him, that's good props for Anthony. That's being a team player right there.
That pitch is taken inside for a ball, 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Violets with a runner at second. They lead 6-4 as the Dolphins try to work their way back from a 6-0 deficit. And the pitch is swung on. That's drilled up the middle. That's going to be in for a base hit. Severino is going to come up throwing into second base, and a big two-out single by Carolyn Sacasio, and that gives NYU a 7-4 lead. Big hit there, Dave, for the Violets.
Yeah, beautiful piece of hitting. She knew she was going to find something to drive, and she never hesitated there. Hit it right where it needed to get hit. You're looking for a line drive in that situation. That's exactly what she got. And now, Severino, I don't think had any chance at home plate. So she did the right thing. Keeps the runner at first base. Keep her from being in scoring position.
As that first pitch is taken for a strike, 0-1 on Maines. And Maines has had a 0-for-3 afternoon. She struck out on a 3-4 play at first base and grounded out on a beautiful defensive play by Galbo, as that ball is going to go back to the screen, and that's going to give the Violets another runner in scoring position with 2 outs. They just picked up a big hit here, Dave, in the 7th to open their lead back up to 7-4.
Yeah, that was a big one. It makes the original play by Joya look good, because that would have easily brought home 2 runs instead of just the 1. But in any event, NYU gets one of those runs back. That's a critical one. Now the Dolphins won't necessarily bring up the tying run in this next inning, or they would.
Yeah, but they'll need two base runners on to get there instead of 1. So we'll see what they could do here as Trapani looks in for the sign. The pitch is inside for a ball, and that's going to even the count up at 2-2. A big strikeout by Stefanelli by Trapani, but Sacaccio with the big 2-out hit, as that's a check swing, and that's going to run the count full to 3-2.
Yeah, definitely thought Maines held up there, thought about it, but she would have been swinging at a ball in the dirt almost. It's a big payoff pitch here. First base is open.
As that pitch is swung on and grounded foul, and that'll hold the count full at 3-2. Jackie Finn on deck, Dave. She has doubled and singled off of Trapani this afternoon, so she's 2 for 3.
Yeah, she's batting ‘500 for the season. She's 8 of 16. I mean, modified at bats, but swinging the bat very well.
So let's see if what Trapani could do against Maines. You know she's going to want to make her swing the bat, and she does, and she nubs it foul, so count holds full at 3-2, and Violets have had a couple of at-bats like that this afternoon, Dave, including the leadoff at-bat by Diana King, where she drew that 9-pitch walk to help get the first run of the game for the Violets.
Very patient team at the plate. They've attacked when they've had to, and they've been patient when they've had to, and that's going to be strike 3, so Nicolette does get out of the inning, but not before NYU scores that big run, Mike.
Yeah, so Trapani is going to pick up her 6th strikeout of the afternoon, but the Violets get a run on a hit. 1 left on. We're going to head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Dolphins. They trail by a score 7-4. We'll step aside, take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're back as we head into the bottom half of the 7th inning. 2, 3, and 4 for the Dolphins. Ariana DiBenedetto, Patricia Richies, and Jamie Holmes, as the Dolphins now have to come back, Dave, from a 3-run deficit.
Get the did you hear him? Like, Andrew, did you get the subs? Oh, you gotta ask him.
So the CSI Dolphins find themselves down by a score of 7-4, Dave, and they had an opportunity with a couple of outs in the bottom half of the 6th inning, and Galbo hit one about as hard as you could on a hop, but a nice defensive play, Dave, by the Violets to keep their 2-run lead that they've now added a 3rd run to.
Yes, definitely. You know, NYU does have some changes that they're going to make here, but Zubelek continues to be the pitcher.
You know, when she came in, Dave, she had only allowed 15 base runners in 15 innings, 11 hits, and 4 walks. But Dolphins have done a pretty good job hitting against her here this afternoon.
Yeah, you know, they've hit the ball hard. Just, you know, they've been unfortunate at times with some good defense.
As DiBenedetto bloops that one down the right field line, and Maines runs over, and she's going to make the catch, I do believe. No, it'll just be a foul ball. So that time DiBenedetto hits one down the right field line. She's 0 for 2 here this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't have that angle here where we're sitting, Mike, so that was just a long strike, but Maines almost got there.
As DiBenedetto fouls that one back off the screen and out of play. She's down in the count now at 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes on DiBenedetto. Long first game here, Dave. Over 2 hours and 10 minutes. Here in this opener, Dolphins trying to work their way back in the game. They need base runners, trailing by a score of 7-4. The pitch is well outside for a ball, 1-2.
Yeah, Zubelek looking to get DiBenedetto to chase well outstrike the strike zone, get an easy out here, but Ariana not offering.
She struck out 6 so far here this afternoon, and the pitch is up high for a ball, 2-2. So DiBenedetto works her way back into the count at even at 2-2.
Yeah, and if you're the Dolphins here at this stage of the game, it pays to be patient. Zubelek has made a lot of pitches. You got to get on base.
And that pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 3. She took a little bit off of that one, had DiBenedetto out in front.
Yeah, and Riches now will be tasked to start things up with 1 out here registered.
So Riches will be the batter. Patricia has reached base twice on 2 errors by the shortstop and flew out deep to center field. She's 0 for 3. Riches came into this game batting .413 on the year, looking for her first hit of the afternoon. And the first pitch is taken for a strike, 0-1, and Zubelek able to go right at Riches, Dave, knowing she's got a 3-1 lead.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you pays to be aggressive here. You know this is the heart of the CSI order, but when you have a lead, you want to stay aggressive.
As that pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, 0-2.
Yeah, Riches gave the plate umpire a long look there. Didn't like the call. She would have had to have reached outside for that one.
So no balls, 2 strikes to count. And the pitch to Riches off the bottom of the bat for a foul ball, and the count holds at 0-2. About 20-25 minutes after the conclusion of this game, we'll be back and bring you second game coverage here at the CSI Softball Complex. Dolphins still with some life as Riches swings and grounds that one under the glove of the third baseman, and that's going to be into left field, and that's going to be scored a base hit. So Riches gets her first hit of the afternoon, and Dave, the Dolphins just 1 base runner away for bringing the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, Riches, had to stay aggressive in that at bat. She was down in the strike in the count, Mike, and therefore that was close to being in the strike zone. She offered at it, was able to put it on the ground. Another sharp hit ground ball gets just under the glove of the third baseman for a base hit, and now Holmes, who's been swinging a pretty hot bat herself, has a chance here with Riches on base.
So Tyndall had to move over from first to third. She couldn't play that one as the first pitch to Holmes is taken up high for a ball, 1-0. Jamie 0 for 3 on the afternoon. She flied out deep to left in the first, fly to center, and reached on an error in the 6th. The wind and the pitch, and that swung on, that's drilled to shortstop. Played there by Clemens. The throw over to first base in time for the second out.
Yeah, nice play by Clemens, who moved over from third base to cover short. Nice stab at the ball. That was hit sharply as well by Holmes. And, you know, Clemens never hesitated. Mike went right to first with it. She knows that the Riches run means absolutely nothing at this point. So get the shore out and get yourself out of this inning. It is Joya who's going to be up now with Riches at second.
Yeah, and that was the best part of the play, Dave, by Morgan, as you said, Dave. No look at second base, no need to. Get the shore out at first, and now the Violets find themselves one out away. The wind and the first pitch to Joya is taken for a strike, 0-1.
Joya was the one who smoked that ground ball down the right side of the infield last inning to score in some runs.
So Vanessa 1 for 3 on the afternoon with an RBI, as the Dolphins find themselves down to their last out. The wind and the pitch just up high for a ball that evens the count up at 1-1. Gabrielle DeLeon on deck hoping for a shot. As the Dolphins down to their last out. The pitch to Joya swung on and drilled into left field. And coming on and making the catch is Stefanelli for the final out of the inning. And we saw it all game long, Dave. Good outfield defensive play by the Violets. And they make the final out of the game on a nice defensive play.
It's kind of fitting that that's how the game would end, Mike, with the NYU outfield making a very good defensive play. They've been doing it all game long, and so they finished the game that way as well. So well played in the field. NYU had 3 errors in that game, but for the most part, they were good, especially in the outfield, where they were absolutely terrific, and they take the win 7-4 over CSI. CSI's 8-game win streak is over, and they fought a 9-8. NYU, they are 10-7, and we'll have another one, Mike, set to come up about 25-30 minutes from now. Should be a good one.
So Nicolette Trapani will take the loss. She'll drop to 4-5. For the Violets, Carissa Zubalake will pick up the win. She'll up her record to 2-1. The big hitting star of the game, Mary Tyndall, as she hits 2 home runs and drives in 5. So that's going to wrap things up here from the CSI softball complex for game number 1. As Dave mentioned, we'll be back in about 25-30 minutes to bring you game number 2. Dave Pizzuto will have the play-by-play for you as the College of Staten Island's 8-game winning streak comes to an end. So for Dave Pizzuto, this is Mike Babusky saying so long. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to stay tuned. We'll be back in about 25-30 minutes with the second game of this doubleheader between the College of Staten Island and the NYU Violets. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, everybody.
Live from the CSI Softball Complex here on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you back to coverage of CSI Women's Softball and Game 2 of our scheduled doubleheader between the CSI Dolphins and the NYU Violets. NYU with a 7-4 victory in game number 1, and CSI looking to get even, NYU looking to take the series sweep. The Dolphins are on the field. Allison Marr will do the pitching, and she will take on, of course, this NYU lineup that put up 7 runs against CSI's Nicolette Trapani and Mike. NYU hit the ball well. They played well in the field, especially in the outfield, to keep CSI at bay in game number 1.
Yeah, you know, Dave, it really was the difference in game number 1. The Violets got off to a good start, picked up a leadoff run in the first inning as Diana King was able to walk, steal a couple of bases, and come around to score on a ground out. But really from the bottom of the first inning on, a nice job by NYU defensively. They got timely 2-strike, 2 and 3-run homers out of Mary Tyndall, and they were able to ride that to a 7-4 victory. Dolphins will look to bounce back, Dave, like you mentioned, in game number 2, as they'll look to come back with Allison Marr on the mound for the Dolphins. And, you know, really a good test here for the Dolphins. They fell behind in game number 1 by a 6-0 score. They came back to within 2, got the tying run to the plate, Dave, gave themselves an opportunity, but gave up a run in the 7th inning and dropped the first game by a final score of 7-4. So their 8-game winning streak broken. They'll look to get right back on the horse and come back, and they'll look for Allison Marr to be the starting pitcher to bring them back here in game number 2.
Yeah, Marr leads the team with victories this season. She's 5-3 in the circle with a 3.91 ERA. Opponents are batting .261 against her. 43 innings pitched. She's giving up 46 hits, has struck out 32. 24 out of the 32 runs that she has given up have been earned. Diana King, who had a big game 1, will step in. King, Finn, and Sacasio here in the first inning. We'll give you the rest as we move further. As we get our scoreboard reset here, NYU and CSI ready here in game number 2. And that one is swung on and hit high in the air, still trailing back and giving way, and seeing it go over her head was Di Benedetto over the wrong shoulder. And here comes King, ready. There'll be a play at the plate, and the tag, oh, and he missed the tag, as it'll be an inside the park home run. That was awful close, Mike. I don't know if Holmes bobbled it coming down on King. The throw looked to be there, was a little off course. First play at the plate, NYU's up 1-0.
Yeah, you know, it was a long fly ball to left field, and Di Benedetto went back on it, Dave, and it was a real tough chance. It was hit a mile high and just kept on going, but that ball actually landed on the bottom of the fence toward the center field side of Di Benedetto, and Di Benedetto made a nice job getting the ball into Patricia Riches with a beautiful throw to the plate, and, you know, it looked very close at the plate. It looked like Holmes might have put the tag on, but the umpire ruled that King was able to get her foot on the bag. So a tough start to the game for the Dolphins is for the second consecutive game. Patricia King scores in her first at bat, and the Violets lead 1-0.
Yeah, so Diana King gets an inside the park home run on her first swing of the bat. She had taken a ball before that, and Jacqueline Finn will be the batter here, going up against Allison Marr. Barely have had a chance to breathe here. NYU up 1-0, and that's the kind of spark that King has been all season long for this NYU team. Finn leaning into the batter's box here, bat squarely on her shoulder, eases up, takes a swing, and gets a little bit of a cut on that one, so the count will go to 1-2.
Get you the rest of the NYU lineup quickly, Dave. Carolyn Sacaccio catching. Claire Stefani will be around in left. Mary Tyndall at third. Ashley Maines in right. Allison Schmutz at catcher. Kimba Yamamoto at second base. And Morgan Clemens moves to shortstop.
And there's one hit sharply on the ground to De Leon. She makes the throw over to Trapani in time. And there is one away here in the top of the first inning. That'll bring up Sacasio. As Mike has mentioned, she's playing first base here in this one. In game one, had an injury to the shortstop in that game. And there's a strike here called on Sacasio.
Yeah, Taylor Kennison, Dave, getting hurt at the end of the game, coming out and not in the lineup for game number 2.
Yeah, and that forced a big switch. And there's one hit sharply right over the glove of Patricia Riches. And that'll be in there for a base hit. So another runner on base here, as that one was hit right on the screws into left field.
Sorry, Dave, another hard hit ball by the Violets, and that will send Jamie Holmes out to the mound to have a talk with Allison Marr, give us a chance to give you the Dolphins defensively here in game number 2. Nicolette Trapani at first, Gabrielle De Leon at second, Patricia Riches at short, Antoinette Galbo around the third, Di Benedetto in left, Severiso in center, Quintella in right, and Jamie Holmes behind the plate in game number 2.
Yeah, so that means for the Dolphins that Vanessa Joya will be the flex player in the game, the DP who will hit. And that one's in there for a call strike 2. So the count 0-2 here on Stefanelli. Fourth batter to approach for NYU in this inning. It started with the Diana King inside the park home run. There's the pitch outside for a ball. Quick snap throw to first, easily in time as Sacasio.
Dave mentioned Allison Marr, the leading winner for the Dolphins this year with a 5-3 record overall. So looking for her 6th win here this afternoon.
And that one is hit sharply, but that will roll foul out of play. Many of you who joined us for game 1 know how bitterly cold it is at the CSI field today. The sun has peeked out, has warmed things up a little bit, but the wind is blowing sharply from right center field into home plate. And that one is hit once again on the ground. De Leon backs up, makes the throw over to Riches, who's covering second base, and the throw is in time. So Stefanelli reaches via the fielder's choice, but Sacasio out on the play.
Yeah, nice defensive play that time by De Leon, Dave. She went to second to cut down that lead runner, so that leaves a runner on first base now with 2 out, and Mary Tyndall, the player the Dolphins had the most trouble with, Dave, in game 1.
Yeah, big right bat in that first game. Really did some heavy damage. That one is hit weakly on the ground to Riches. Riches makes the throw in and out of the glove of Trapani. Throw was a little bit offline, and now incoming home all the way from first base is Stefanelli. And NYU has got themselves a 2-0 lead here via the CSI error.
Yeah, that was a tough play that time, as the throw a little bit towards home plate, and Trapani had her glove on the ball, but Tyndall ran into the glove and knocked it out, and that ball rolled all the way against the fence, Dave, against the down the right field line, and nice hustle that time by the Violets to take a 2-0 lead, as Dolphins a little bit sloppy, Dave, on that play.
Yeah, so first error of the inning. Mix in the 2 hits. The Dolphins are now down 2-0. And after all this, Tyndall is waiting in scoring position at second base, and it will be Ashley Maines, the right fielder. And that one's outside for a ball.
Yeah.
The error was charged to Trapani on the play. And that one's in there for a call strike without the swing of the bat.
Yeah, tough error that time on Trapani, as she, was coming towards home plate, Dave, and ball knocked out of a glove by the base runner.
And that one is hit in the ground. It won't get past De Leon. Her throw not in time. That'll be an infield hit, I would assume, by Ashley Maines, and De Leon did a good job of stopping that to prevent Tyndall from going home on the play, but she does advance to third easily. And indeed, it was an infield hit for Maines, ruled.
Yeah, Ma continuing to get hit here, Dave, in this game.
Yeah, but really, aside from that first hit, Mike, everything pretty much on the ground, as that one is called for a high strike.
And, of course, everything from this point on, Dave, will be unearned after that error with 2 outs. So,
right, including the second run that came home off of that error. And that one is hit again weakly, this time to third. It's Galbo fielding. The throw is in time, and we will head to the bottom half of the first inning, but not before NYU puts up 2 runs on 3 hits, aided by 1 Dolphin error. And at the end of 1/2 inning, it's 2-0. So stay with us. You're watching CSI Women's Softball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. The Dolphins in a hole before they can even swing the bat, down 2-0 thanks to a 3-hit inning in the top of the first by NYU, including an inside-the-park home run by Diana King. Dolphins getting ready for their turn, swinging the bats. Mike, let's get their starting lineup.
Yeah, for the Dolphins in game number 2, Patricia Riches will lead off, move up to the leadoff spot. Antoinette Galbo will drop down to second, and she'll play third. Vanessa Joya will be the designated player, batting third. Jamie Holmes will catch and bat fourth. Gabrielle De Leon will be at second base and bat fifth. Allison Marr will be pitching and batting sixth. Christina Severiso will be in center. She'll bat seventh. Juliana Quintella will be in right. She'll bat eighth. Ariana Di Benedetto will be in left field. She'll bat ninth. And Nicolette Trapani will be the flex player once again, though this game at first base.
Yeah, so Riches, who was moved down in the order for game 1, resumes her place at the top of the order here in the bottom of the first. And as Mike mentioned, she will go up against Cassie Perulis for NYU. We'll get you her line in just a few moments, as that one does hit the top of the strike zone for strike number 1. Perulis 2-1 this season, over a 5 RBI, 5.34. Limited innings, under 20 on the season so far. Mike, and we were told that by the officiating crew, the umpiring crew behind the plate, that on the inside the park home run there was obstruction at third base, which prevented the run from the tag from being applied, being negated. So
interesting, Dave. Yeah. I didn't notice it out on the play, but
yeah, that was explained to us between innings. Went off Mike for a while and got that clarification made. So 0-2 here to Riches, and she turns sharply on that one, but well foul. That was hit on the line, and Perulis given a little bit of an indication on Riches' power with that last swing.
Patricia was 1 for 4 in the first game, came into the doubleheader leading the Dolphins in hitting at .413.
And that one is hit on a line towards second base. On a couple of hops, fielding is Yamamoto, and she puts it away with the throw to Sacasio in time. And so the Dolphins have registered their first out of the game.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch that time, as Riches was out in front and really didn't get much on that swing. And a nice play by Yamamoto. She's been very consistent at second base all afternoon.
Yeah, and NYU in the field. Sacasio at first, Yamamoto at second, Clemens at short, and Tyndall at third. And that one is just outside for a ball. Schmoose is behind the plate. And in the outfield, it was a good one for NYU. A beautiful day in the outfield in game 1. Stefanelli in left, King in center, and Maines in right field. And that one is swung on and hit sharply, and ducking out of the way was Vanessa Joya. Don't see very many lefty pitchers in softball, but Perulis is one of them. And of course, that will force the Dolphins maybe to take their time a little bit more with the timing and where the ball is originating from. And that one lands high for a ball. So the count 2-1.
Dolphins scored 4 runs in that first game, all in the 6th inning. Find themselves down early, 2-0 here in game number 2.
Yeah, it really wasn't until that third time around the order that they were able to really get a lot of success, even though they hit the ball hard all game against Carissa Zubalecki. Dolphins would love to get a much faster start here in this one. Count 3-1, and Galbo swinging and fouls that one off. So the count will run full here. Galbo's got a lot of wheels, so if she can get on base, she becomes an instant threat down there. She can turn a long single into a race to home plate. And that one is hit sharply into center field. That will drop just inside of the dirt, backing up second base. An easy single that time for Galbo as she puts that one into center field. And Dolphins have themselves a base runner here in the bottom of the first with Joya at the plate.
Yeah, so Antoinette gets her first hit of the afternoon, Dave. She was 0 for 4 in game number 1, and that will bring Vanessa Joya to the plate as the tying run here early in the bottom half of the first inning.
So Joya with the right-handed bat has Galbo to work with at first. We'll see what she does, as that one is just outside for a ball. High outside corner.
Perulis with just 2 base on balls through 20 innings so far this year. Very effective getting the ball over the plate.
That one is in the dirt, skips in for a ball, so 2-0 is our count. Have to think Perulis would like to work fast here out there with her short sleeves on, Mike. Definitely wants to stay active. And that one is dead red for a strike, as Joya looked like she was taking all the way there, wanted to see one. Galbo has stayed firm at first, hasn't really threatened to steal at this point. Although Schmoose did give her a long look after the first pitch. And that one is just low for a ball. So the count goes to 3-1, and wanting an explanation is Perulis. She'll get one and heads back to the rubber with a better understanding here, 3-1.
Dolphins with just 10 stolen bases on the year. They're 10 of 11. Galbo leads the team with 3.
The pitch, that one just hits the outside corner. That one tucked in there. And it's 3-2, the count runs full. Joya shaking her head as she steps out of the batter's box. Didn't like the call.
Yeah, that time Perulis going with the off-speed pitch down in the count, 3-1 to work it full.
3-2 for the second straight at bat, and Joya spoils that one off to the first base side for a foul ball. On that 3-2 pitch, Mike, Galbo not in motion. It'll be interesting to see what her plan is there. Joya can get a good hit on this one. Another payoff pitch here upcoming from Perulis. Swung on and again. Fouled this time to the third base side.
You know, the Dolphins traditionally have used their speed in stolen bases. You've had such great players like Brittany Smith out in center field. But this year, Dave, like we mentioned, 10 of 11, only 11 stolen base attempts all year long.
And that one is hit sharply right into center field, and King got a good beat on it. At first it looked like she might have overran it a little bit as that hung up there, but that was hit so sharply, Mike, didn't give the wind the chance to work its magic, and now the Dolphins are down to their final out. Jamie Holmes will step in.
Yeah, and the Dolphins have hit a little bit of tough luck here all afternoon long, Dave. They've hit the ball hard at times, but, you know, and it always seems like there's an NYU defensive player there to make the play.
And there's Holmes offering at the first pitch, and that's going to go over the head of Clemens at short. Backing up quickly was King to avoid that turning into an extra base, but the Dolphins have another base runner on. First and second now, and the red-hot Gabrielle De Leon stepping up.
And Jamie Holmes gets her first hit of the afternoon as well, Dave, as the Dolphins come back with 2 hits in the bottom half of the first inning, but they'll need a 2-out hit from De Leon if they're going to do some damage here in the bottom half of the first.
Couple singles here for the Dolphins. Galbo at second base. Holmes will be at first. And Gabriel De Leon stepping in, playing second base for the second straight game. Perulis had a conversation with Schmooze just a short time ago. See what she comes at De Leon with here, as that one is inside and low for a ball.
Yeah, Gabrielle continued her solid hitting in game number 1, Dave, and really has just made it impossible to pull her out of the lineup. 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI.
And that one is outside this time for 2-0 count. So Perulis has thrown a number of pitches here in this inning, went full to the last 2 batters. And De Leon should get something to hit here, a 2-0 pitch. And she does cut on and miss that one for strike number 1. So 2-1 is our count. And that one is hit. Humpback liner to third base off of the glove. And coming in at home is going to be a play at the plate. And we have a run scored, as that one is called safe, as I think the home plate bag might have been blocked, Mike. I think that is the call. You can see the NYU coach having a chat now with Schmooze, the catcher, and the home plate was obstructed, Mike, and that's what allows the run to score. But De Leon, I'm going to assume they're going to award that a hit. Yes, they do. So De Leon will get a single. She advances via the throw and an RBI. It will score Galbo, and the Dolphins are halfway into the deficit. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and another good piece of hitting by De Leon as she's able to get it over the head of the third baseman and in front of the shortstop for a base hit. And, good base running by the Dolphins, and thought that Galbo was safe at the plate anyway, Dave, whether there was any obstruction there or not. But an opportunity now for the Dolphins to try to get their first lead of the afternoon.
This will be Mar's first at bat. She's batting .172 this season. Only 5 hits, Mike, but 8 RBIs in those 5 hits. So she knows how to hit when runners are on base, and she's got 2 in scoring position here. Takes the first one rolling for a ball.
We've also seen her knock one off the scoreboard, Dave, earlier this year.
Fair point, as that one is just outside for a ball. 2-0 is our count. So now Allison Marr, with first base open, could get an offering here at 2-0. Runners are at second and third. Here's the pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. 2-1. Both teams scoring here in the game's first inning of play. 2 for NYU, 1 for the Dolphins. Perulis swung on, and just getting a piece of it was Marr. Skipped off the glove of Schmooze. So the count goes to 2-2.
Dave, the Dolphins have been playing from behind all afternoon, every inning so far here this afternoon.
Yep.
They'd really like to come back and tie it up or take the lead here in the bottom half of the first.
And that one is swung on and hit right back at Perulis. The throw is made in time, and that ends the threat for the Dolphins. But we go to the second inning with the Dolphins having registered 3 hits, the 1 run, and at the end of 1 complete, it's NYU holding a 2-1 lead. So stick around. We'll be back here for more softball action here live from the CSI Softball Complex. Stay with us. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. We're getting ready for the second inning of play. Allison Marr was the last to make it out for the Dolphins, so she's a little bit late getting back on into the circle. But when we come back, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for NYU here in the second. Mike just checked in with the weather. It's 47 degrees here. We always drop at about 5 here at CSI simply because we're in the openness here and swirling winds. The wind chill factor right now is 40 degrees. That's for Staten Island. And here at the complex, probably less than that. Anybody who has any experience here realizes that.
Yeah, it's been a chilly afternoon here and a tough day for the Dolphins as they've been unable to take the lead against the Violets at any point so far here this afternoon, Dave, but trail by just 1.
So 2-0 is our count here. Kimber Yamamoto, who's played every inning at second base for NYU, is our batter. Shows modified bunt, is going to swing away and takes that one for a close strike. Wanted to see one from Marr. She does.
Yamamoto also a freshman, so the Violets went healthy.
And that one is chopped towards second base. Riches, the throw over to Trapani, well in time, and there's one out.
Get to play freshmen at both second and short, Dave, and you know that's always exciting when you bring in those young infielders into the middle of the diamond.
Yeah, Morgan Clemens will be the batter. She actually moved to short last game after the injury to Taylor Kennerson, and she hits that one chopped over to short. Throw once again in time, and there's now 2 outs. So couple of quick outs here for Marr. In the top of the second, we go back to the top of the order.
Yeah, Clemens getting down the line fast, but Riches with that gun at shortstop, Dave, for the second out.
2 outs here. And that one is chopped towards third base. Galbo, the throw, it's high, it's corralled by Trapani for the third out. So that was a quick one. We go to the bottom of the second inning. The score still 2-1 as NYU goes 3 up and 3 down. So we're at the end of 1.5. NYU leading the Dolphins 2-1 here at the end of 1.5. Stay with us. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. Cassie Perillis taking the last of her warm-up tosses, and the Dolphins will bring up their 7, 8, 9 hitters here in inning number 2. NYU goes down in order, Mike. That hopefully can fuel the Dolphins here as they get ready to swing the bats again.
Yeah, good second inning by Ma. The Violets hit her a little bit in inning number 1. But she came right back in the second inning, and Patricia Riches with a couple of assists in that inning as well. And the Dolphins get out of the inning and now look to come back trailing 2-1 here in the bottom of the second.
Severizzo went 1 for 2 in the last game. She takes a strike here. She had a walk as well, so she was on base a couple of times, a couple of RBIs. Looking to break out here in her sophomore season for the Dolphins. And that one is cut on, and it is popped up to Tyndall at third base. Easy catch made as she's going opposite her body, makes the play. 1 out.
Yeah, you mentioned, Dave, Christina struggling at the bat a little bit, just 4 hits on the season. She's down for the first out, and that'll bring up Juliana Quintella. Quintella having a strong year at the plate for the Dolphins.
Yeah, she's still looking for her first hit today, though. She went 0 for 3 in that first game. Struck out once, left a couple of runners on base, so looking to break out here on this very crisp Sunday afternoon. And that one is just foul as it flirted with the third base. So we go to 1-1. Cretella is an exceptional fielder in the outfield for the Dolphins, most of the time in right field, and that will always keep her on the field, Mike, playing. And that one is hit sharply towards short, backhanding and making the play is Clemens with the throw in time, and so there's 2 away.
Yeah, and NYU's strength has been in the field all afternoon, Dave, and despite those 2 errors in the for the Dolphins leading off the 6th in the first game, they've done a really nice job. It's very cold out, Dave. It's hard to field the ball defensively, and NYU has done it all day long, especially in the moments where it's counted the most.
So Ariana DiBenedetto with her first at-bat here takes high. She represents the number 9 hitter, playing left field here in this one. Was up at the top of the order for game 1. Here's the pitch. Sees that one in there for a strike. So we go to 1-1 here as Perillas looking to get out of this inning rather quickly. After both pitchers got into trouble, each gave up 3 hits in the second inning. And that one bounces in for a ball. So Ariana now will get herself a 2-1 pitch to look at. Rich is on deck.
Ariana went 0 for 3 with a walk, batting second in game number 1.
There's the pitch, and that's just on the outside for a ball. So 3-1 now the count to DiBenedetto. Dolphins would love to get her on base with Patricia Riches swinging the bat. See if DiBenedetto can deliver. 3-1 pitch, and it was swung on, and catching just the piece was DiBenedetto for strike number 2, so the count will run full. 3rd time in the game that Perillas will be delivering a full count pitch. Looks in, working quickly. There's the hit, and it is hit very weakly towards third. The throw is in time. Nice job by the third baseman, Tyndall. And the Dolphins will go down in order here in the second. So we move to the 3rd inning of play. NYU leads 2-1 overall. Stay with us. You're watching women's softball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI softball complex where the Dolphins are down by a run. Allison Marr yielded 2 runs on 3 hits. There was a CSI error in that top of the first inning, but she got NYU out 1-2-3 in the second. And now we move to the 3rd inning with the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters here for NYU. Jacqueline Finn will lead things off. She grounded to second her first time up. And that one is well high for a ball. Marr stepping off the rubber. Now gets back on. Will deliver pitch number 2 to Finn. That one does hit the low corner strike zone to run it even at 1-1.
Nice pitch that time by Allison right at the knees to even the count up at 1.
So Marr winds, delivers, and that one is hit right back to her on one hop. The throw to first in time easily, and the Dolphins have one away here in the top of the 3rd.
So Allison trying to get herself in a little bit of a groove, has retired the last 5 violets she's faced.
Carolyn Sacasio had one of those 3 NYU hits. She was erased on a fielder's choice promptly after, but she singled to left field her first time up, and she takes that one outside for a ball. Sacasio looking to give NYU a start. Marr delivers for a strike, so evens the count here at 1-1.
You know, the weather doesn't really look that good coming up, Dave. And looking here at the schedule, Dolphins with not another game till next Saturday on the road against Hunter College. And then back here at the CSI Softball Complex against York on Sunday.
Yeah, so Dolphins don't play again till the weekend. And, you know, you never know what can happen between now and then. The Dolphins may see one of their previously rained-out contests made up, or if they see that the weekend might not look that great, they'll try to move something up. Not unheard of here as the count goes to 3-1 at Sacasio. But that game on Saturday, Mike, taking place, I believe, at Randall's Island, annual grudge match against Hunter, which always is one of the perennial favorites in the conference and could be a little bit of an early sign as to some playoff implications.
Yeah, David, you know, you look at the rest of the Dolphins schedule, some good teams left on the schedule. Moravian at home will be tremendously exciting, and then New Jersey City University and William Patterson on the road. And, you know, like you mentioned, more games possibly could get added to that schedule.
Yeah, as other outside of conference teams are kind of scrambling for games as well. That one hits off of Marr's glove. Riches makes the play and the throw in time. So that counts as a 1-6-3 out as off the glove of Marr. Nice job by Riches to continue her run at it, and Marr is now retired 6 straight, as Mike mentioned. Claire Stefanelli hit a grounder to second base, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first inning, and takes that one low for a ball.
Yeah, Riches has been busy in the field all game long, Dave.
Yeah, not much will get past her, whether it's on the ground or up in the air. Rich is one of those players who, if she's clean at the end of the game, that's a bad sign, or a sign that she's just been simply inactive. She's meant to get dirty there at the shortstop position. Here's the wind and the delivery on the outside corner for strike 2. So it's 1-2.
Yeah, Marr's starting to look much sharper in the second couple of innings.
So now it's 2-2 as that one just misses the strike zone there on the outside corner. Nobody on for NYU, 2 out. Marr steps off and now back on. She gets ready to deliver to Stefanelli. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit sharply to third base, but foul. So the count holds at 2-2.
And there have been several moments in that first game, Dave, when NYU did a very nice job at the plate, really working Nicolette Trapani and forcing her to work and getting some dividends out of it. So once again, you see Stefanelli extending the at-bat with a 2-strike foul ball.
So after a little bit of a delay there in the circle as the dirt started to whip up, there's the pitch, and it's played on a hop behind the plate by Holmes. That'll be a foul ball again. One of the things that often gets overlooked, Mike, obviously that was a foul ball, but CSI catchers have done an outstanding job of keeping balls in front of them. Vanessa Joya and now Jamie Holmes, who played first base the first game, able to kind of funnel players in and out of that position year after year without incident. There's one chopped once again right back up the middle. Riches makes the stab and the throw for the final out of the top of the third. So we'll move into the bottom half of the third inning. NYU holding to a 2-1 lead. The Dolphins will get their top of the order back up in inning number 3. Until then, they find themselves down by 1. Stay with us. Welcome back to the CSI Softball Complex here, getting set for the bottom half of the third inning. The Dolphins with their 1-2-3 hitters ready to approach on their second turnaround against Cassie Perulis. Riches will start things off. She grounded to second her first time up. Galbo singled and later scored in the first inning, and Joya lined out to center field her first time up. So we'll see what the Dolphins have to offer, Mike, on their second cuts.
Yeah, as Patricia Riches will lead off an inning for the second time in the first 3 innings for the Dolphins.
So Perulis, and a swing high in the air, giving chase, and cutting in on it is Stefanelli, and there is one away.
Yeah, Dolphins. Patricia Riches swinging on the first pitch, flies to left field, and that'll bring up the second place hitter, Antoinette Galbo.
Yeah, so Galbo singled into shallow center field and came all the way around to score on a hit by Gabrielle De Leon later in the inning. Looking to give CSI a start here, and that one is taken low for a ball. Mentioned Allison Marr moving along. Perulis is now retired 5 straight Dolphins. Here's the left-handed pitch, and that one is fouled on the third base side. Mentioned the CSI softball schedule, Mike. CSI baseball back in action for not their first home game of the year, but their first game on their home field of the year. They've been playing their home games at Staten Island Technical High School, an all-turf field at SI Tech, and they're hoping to play for the first time at the CSI baseball complex, as that one is fouled off by Galbo.
And, you know, we've had tough Marches and tough early Aprils before, Dave, but hard to remember ever going to April 9th before getting a baseball game at the CSI baseball complex.
Yeah, and, you know, Mike, with this cold, it's not like it's ideal it's not like it's ideal weather either. Just thankfully things are dry enough to play, and the Dolphins field has just taken a beating. If there hasn't been a layer of snow on it, it's just all that thaw, and, you know, as temperatures freeze overnight, all that moisture comes right back up the next morning, and it just doesn't give the field crew a chance to really get to touch the fields either. So you feel for everybody in that situation. Here's the pitch, 1-2, and that one is swung on at a pitch well outside the strike zone. That fooled Galbo, and there's 2 outs.
Yeah, so the time Galbo, as you mentioned, David, you know, it comes up and it's in your eyes and it looks so big, but very difficult to hit, even when they're slow sometimes. And that time, Galbo, way out in front, had already committed to the pitch before it got to the plate.
So Joya hit one sharply her last time up, but it was to straightaway center field where Diana King was there to make the play on a line. And Perulis has retired 6 straight Dolphins here. Joya looking to spoil that, as that one is in the dirt for a ball, so the count goes to 1-1. But Dolphins baseball team will be home tomorrow. They have a conference doubleheader against John Jay College. That doubleheader was rained out 3 different occasions, so this is take 4 for them and John Jay, and looks like that one will get in. That one is swung on and hit in the middle of the infield, and it is taken down by Clemens, but she cannot corral it. We'll see how that one gets scored. Either way, with 2 outs, Joya is at first base.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to put an error up on the play.
They registered a hit.
Oh, it's a base hit. I'm sorry. So Joya's going to get credit for the single. And the Dolphins have an opportunity with Jamie Holmes, who's 1 for 1 in game number 2.
Yeah, she singled to left field her first time up, shallow left. And that one is well high for a ball. I want to thank all of our viewers tuning in. We know it's been a tough day to watch, as our internet has been in and out pretty much all game, but things have seemed to be steady here since the late portions of game number 1. Our count is 1-1 here.
Holmes' 5-game double streak came to an end in game number 1. She'd love to get one in the gaps here, Dave. Try to tie this one up with 2 outs.
And that one is hit well in the air. Giving chase is a couple of players, but it's Stefanelli to make the play. And so, threat averted as we go now into the fourth inning of play. It is CSI trailing NYU by a score of 2-1. Stay with us. Welcome back here to the CSI softball complex. We're getting set to start the game's fourth inning. It's been rather uneventful, Mike, since the first inning. Allison Marr on CSI's side has been able to retire 7 straight NYU batters, and she's going to face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters here in this inning at the least.
Yeah, so, the Dolphins find themselves down by a score 2-1 here. As you mentioned, Dave, all the runs in the first inning, 2 for the Violets, 1 for the Dolphins. So Ma will try to see if she can get the Dolphins back into the dugout. And the Dolphins will see if they can come back and try to put up the tying run here in inning number 4.
So she will face Tyndall as the first hitter. She was 2 for 2 with 5 RBIs in game number 1, and she earned on via error her last time up. Here's the pitch from Marr, and it's too low for a ball.
Tyndall went to third late in game number 1. She started here in game number 2.
And now one's hit sharply up the middle past the sprawling Patricia Riches. And so Tyndall stays red hot in today's doubleheader. She puts one up the middle, and NYU has a leadoff base runner on. And we have Ashley Maines approaching, and she singled to second base her first time up.
Yeah, on that play, Dave Riches was shaded well over towards third. That drive up the middle went through for the base hit.
Showing bunt is Maines. It's a good one down to third base. Galbo makes the play and delivers to De Leon in time, but sacrifice executed effectively, 5-4. And that will move Tyndall over to second base.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bunt that time by Maines. The Dolphins charging in on the play. She laid it down perfectly, and it took a pretty good defensive play by Galbo to get the out for the Dolphins.
Pays to have speed in that scenario for the Dolphins, and Galbo has plenty of it at third base. Allison Schmoose is the batter. She grounded to Galbo her first time up, and she hits that one to third. Galbo gives second base a look, delivers back to first. No throw to third, as taking third was Tyndall after getting a late break off the throw. But still 2 away here for NYU with a runner at third.
Yeah, good play that time by Galbo, Dave. You don't want to fool around on that play. If it's no outs, maybe, but with 1 out, get the out at first base and come back with 2 outs now, and the number 8 hitter coming to bat.
Kimber Yamamoto swung at the first pitch her first time up and grounded to short. Swings at that one and cuts it foul for a strike. It is Tyndall at first base. She singled up the middle, took second on a sacrifice, and advanced on Schmooze's ground ball. Yamamoto sees that one in there for a strike on the outside corner. And now Allison Marr way ahead here, 0-2 on Kimber Yamamoto.
Nice pitch that time by Marr, right on the corner.
She's gotten a lot of those strike calls, Mike, right on the outside of the plate. See if she goes back there on this one. That one is low, and it is swung on and hit foul. So Yamamoto protecting at the plate, does a good job there.
Yeah, and the Violets have done a good job hitting with 2 strikes, Dave, all afternoon long. Ma looking to finish off Yamamoto with the potential 3rd run down at third base for the Violets.
Dolphins looking to salvage a split in this one. They lost game 1, 7-4. That one is swung on and hit weakly right back at Marr. The throw to first in time, and the Dolphins are out of the inning. So NYU strands a runner at third base, and we will move to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Violets leading the Dolphins 2-1. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Women's Softball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here. The Dolphins will send up the numbers 5, 6, and 7 hitters here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. They trail 2-1. The Dolphins with 3 of their 4 hits coming in the 1st inning where they scored their lone run. Only one since then. That belonged to Vanessa Joya last inning. And Gabrielle De Leon, Mike, who was the only registered CSI's only multi-hit game last game. She went 2 for 3. She's 1 for 1 here in game 2, looking to stay strong.
Yeah, she's really done a great job for the Dolphins at second base.
1 for 1 with an RBI. It was an infield hit towards third base. She ended up advancing on the throw, but getting stranded right there at second base back in the 1st inning. And that one's outside for a ball.
Yeah, she's been a big part of the Dolphin offense, scored a run and drove in a run in the 1st game as well.
Leads the team in RBIs this season. And that one is swung on and right past Tyndall in third base, gets past the bag. Great job by Clemens to back up Tyndall to keep that at first base. That'll be a base hit for De Leon. She's 2 for 2, and she gives the Dolphins a start.
Yeah, she does, as she gets on base for the 2nd time this afternoon. But, you know, you could really see how the loss at shortstop of Taylor Kennison has affected that Violet defense on the left side.
Because Clemens was normally the third baseman. She moved over to short, and that one's well high. De Leon has to snap back at first base. First pitch was high to Marr, so the count is 1-0.
As the wind starts to pick up here at the CSI softball complex, blowing directly in from left field.
Absolutely. You can see the flag top left of your screen as that one is inside for a ball. So Marr will now see a 2-0 pitch with a runner at second. Runner at first. Marr has plenty of power there at the plate. And that one is down low for a ball, so 3-0. Christina Severizzo on deck. She lined one out to third base her first time up. Marr hit one back to Perulis her first time at the plate. Here's the pitch. Dead red for a strike. Marr taking all the way. Count goes to 3-1. Here's the pitch. On the outside corner for a strike, so Marr looked like she was taking all the way there again, and she sees the count run full to 3-2.
Yeah, nice pitch that time, Dave. Even if Marr was zeroing in on his own, that one low on the outside corner, taken for a strike.
So payoff pitch upcoming here. That one skips in the dirt off the plate, and Marr gets a free pass over to first base, so she earns on via the walk, and now officially Dolphins have runners at first and second with nobody out here, and I believe we'll either get a pinch runner or a pinch hitter. It'll be a runner. It'll be Kristen Marr coming in to replace her sister Allison at first base.
Yeah, and Paululis, Dave, had only walked 2 batters coming into the game this afternoon. Puts the base on balls for Ma there and puts the Dolphins in business, Dave, with 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom half of the 4th.
Yeah, and after retiring 5 straight Dolphins, or 6 straight Dolphins, I should say, Paululis has now allowed 3 of the last 4 batters to reach base here for CSI, and Christina Cerverizzo didn't hit the ball extremely sharply, but lined out to third her last time up. Tyndall had to make a backhanded catch. Cerverizzo choked up on the bat here, looking to lay down a bunt. It's low, and she'll pass on that one, so it'll be ball 1. Cerverizzo hit sharply to shortstop, and NYU elects to get the force out at third base. So fielder's choice executed successfully. That erases De Leon. So Kristen Marr moves to second base, and Cerverizzo's on via the fielder's choice.
Yeah, Cerverizzo hit the ball hard, Dave, but right at the shortstop for the easy force out. Good play by the Violets to cut down that tying run at third base.
Cretella hit a sharp ground ball to short her last time up that Clemens had to make a backhanded stab at and erase her. So she'll have an 0-1 pitch to look at here with 1 out, and that one is swung on and hit weakly towards third, but that'll trickle into foul territory as Tyndall makes the touch. So it'll be 0-2 on Cretella.
And this is a big bottom of the 4th inning here for the Dolphins, Dave. They've never been able to tie or play from out in front the entire afternoon. They get the first 2 runners on. Let's see if Cretella can make the Violets pay.
So an 0-2 pitch upcoming, and that one is too low for a ball. As Mike mentioned, NYU got off to a 6-0 lead in the first game before CSI had an answer. They scored 4 runs in the 6th to make it 6-4. NYU added 1 in the 7th. They ended up winning the game 7-4. Here's the pitch, and that one is too low for a ball, ball 2. And then here in this one, all the scoring came in the first inning. NYU got up on top 2-0. Dolphins got one of those back in their turn of the first, but we've been zeros ever since. Runners at first and second, 1 out here for Cretella. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit towards first base, and no choice there but to make the tag for Sacasio. So the Dolphins will be down to their final out, but the runners have moved over to second and third. 2 runners in scoring position for Ariana Di Benedetto.
Yeah, so it'll take a 2-out hit for the Dolphins if they're going to tie the game up here in the bottom of the 4th. Di Benedetto, the batter, still looking for her first hit this afternoon. She's 0 for 1 in game number 2.
Di Benedetto grounded out to third her first time up, and she looks at that one outside the strike zone for a ball, 1-0. First base is open. Patricia Riches is on deck for CSI, one of CSI's most dangerous hitters. Here's the pitch. Right down the heart, right off the glove. This will be tough. And no play made. 1 run will score. Here comes run number 2. And she is out at home, Cerverizzo. But the Dolphins do manage to tie things up on the infield hit by Di Benedetto. So the Dolphins score 1 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and we have a tie ball game here as we move into the 5th frame. So more CSI softball action coming up next right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. A Very interesting last play, Mike, to end that bottom of the fourth. An infield hit that skipped off the glove of Cassie Perulis. Unfortunate play for NYU. The Dolphins able to score on it, but Christina Severizzo, who represented the go-ahead run, banged out at the plate for the third out. So NYU escapes with just the Dolphins having tied. Could have been worse, but the Dolphins able to scratch out a run.
Yeah, and the Dolphins were able to scratch out that run with that 2-out RBI by DiBenedetto to even this game up at 2. So new start for both teams here as we head to the top of the fifth.
9-1-2 due up here for NYU. Morgan Clemens will take a strike to start things off. Clemens grounded out to short her first time up. And that is one smoked over to shortstop. The throw was low, but made by Trapani at first base, and the Dolphins have registered 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning against NYU.
Yeah, Richards has been busy. She's had assists, Dave, in every inning but the 4th, so 1 up, 1 down for NYU.
So Diana King, always dangerous, scored the game's first run on an inside-the-park home run that was aided by a CSI obstruction. RBI run scored, obviously. She grounded to third her last time up. Took a strike. And that one is cut on and chopped foul for strike number 2. So Marr will work ahead in the count. King had come into this afternoon's doubleheader batting .491. 15 steals coming in. She had more. And that one is hit sharply over to right field. Cretella having to back up, but she makes the catch, backpedaling as she did. 2 outs here for NYU.
Yeah, and that ball was hit into that swirling wind, and Cretella had to circle it a little bit, Dave, but she did a good job making the play for the second out. 2 up, 2 down quickly for the Violets here in their half of the 5th.
And Jacqueline Finn, a couple of ground balls here in this one, is 0 for 2. And she hits that one sharply and caught on a line by Patricia Riches. So minimal work for Allison Marr in the top of the 5th inning. NYU goes down 1-2-3, and we head to the bottom half of the 5th. Tie score here. Dolphins and Violets locked up at 2. Stay with us. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. We get set here for inning number 5 between CSI and NYU. Dolphins cut the lead to 2-1 in the bottom of the 1st after NYU had scored twice in the 1st. And they got even last inning on a infield single by Ariana DiBenedetto. Unfortunately, the Dolphins were called out at the plate, Christina Severizzo. And it'll be 1-2-3 for the Dolphins in this inning. Patricia Riches, 0 for 2.
Yeah, Riches, Dave, incredibly, with just 5 RBIs on the year for the CSI Dolphins, leading off for the 3rd time here in game number 2.
Yeah, Riches set the CSI single-season record last year for hits. I believe she did for RBIs as well. I'd have to look into that, but this year, that number extremely low because, for this reason, she's been leading off pretty much exclusively this entire season. Remember, the Dolphins lost their big leadoff hitter in Jacqueline Cretella from a season ago, who was also a record setter in the pitching circle. Riches will see an 0-2 count, and she kind of check swing fouls that one off. And I know it's hard to appreciate, Mike, with the camera being so far away, but the way Riches holds the bat with her hands spaced out probably a good 2 inches on the bat. That left hand all the way down to the base of the bat, and the right hand about 2 inches further up. Just don't see that often, and that one is chopped in the infield and trying to give chase, but not getting there was Yamamoto. She was on her horse from the start, but that one was fisted into the no man's land between the pitcher and second base, and Riches will get on via an infield hit.
Yeah, and you knew, Dave, as soon as that ball chopped that high up in the air, there was going to be no play on Riches as she's able to get down to first base. And Dave, Patricia, second all-time for the Dolphins, 50 RBIs on the year last year.
Yep, there we go. So Galbo, now with the job of trying to move Riches over, has been very successful all year, making the play as Parulis, but the ball gets away from Yamamoto, and Riches is on her horse, heading into home. She is in there, safe for the go-ahead run.
Yeah, what a big play that time by Antoinette Galbo, first doing a great job getting the bunt. That was going to be a close play at first base, and we'll wait to see the scoring. And once that ball went down the right field line, you knew Riches wasn't going to stop. She came flying home for the run to give the Dolphins their first lead of the afternoon, 3-2.
And I believe they've registered a hit on the board for the Dolphins, but there's got to be an error to go along with that, as that's undoubtedly how Riches would have been able to score.
Yeah, that was a great job that time by Galbo. A beautiful job getting the bunt down for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins don't get the ball out of the infield, Dave, but they've scored the go-ahead run and still have a runner at second base with nobody out.
So a sack bunt, but a reach via the error for Galbo. No RBI. We're going to get an official ruling on that as well. I believe that was a base hit bunt, if I'm not mistaken. And Vanessa Joya will be the batter.
Yeah, but more importantly, Dave, the Dolphins grabbed their first lead of the afternoon and looking for more with a runner in scoring position and nobody out.
Yeah, lost in all that is the fact that Galbo is now at third. And there's one that's put into the hole between second and third. Galbo will have to stay put at third base, but now runners will be on the corners with still nobody out here, and Jamie Holmes up at the plate.
Yeah, and Vanessa Joya, Dave, with 2 hits in her last 2 at-bats, and her first at-bat was a long drive down to center field, and the Dolphins continue to put pressure on the Violets here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, as we'll have a little bit of a break as we're going to have a meeting out at the mound for the Violets.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike, what's so interesting is that the Dolphins have 9 hits in this game, but really, Mike, when you think about it, only 2 have been hit out of the infield. A lot of them have just been sharp grounders against Perula. So the Dolphins are starting to get their timing down and really starting to drive balls in through the infield and are able to leg out some infield singles. That's why they're up here 3-2. And Mike, the official scoring on Galbo, that was an infield single coupled with an error that allowed Galbo to both go to second and allowed Riches to score. So infield single off of a bunt and the advance via the error. So for now anyway, the run goes unearned. Actually, the run turned out to be earned for Riches. But now runners at the corners, still nobody out for Jamie Holmes. Holmes is 1 for 2. And that one is swung on and hit sharply into left center field. It's over the wall! 3-run shot for Jamie Holmes on the line. And the Dolphins have opened up a 6-2 lead.
Yeah, so the Dolphins finally explode, and Holmes just missed a home run in the first inning of game number 1. That one she drills over the left field wall for a big 3-run homer. Only the 3rd home run as a team for the Dolphins. And Dave, I don't know if you noticed, but she tried to call timeout right before the pitch came in, didn't get it, and then drilled the ball over the left field wall.
Yep, and that's going to be the end of the line for Parulis, as coming into pitch for NYU is going to be number 9, Scarlett Murphy, the sophomore. Thank you, Gary. So we get the official change. Number 9, Scarlett Murphy will be coming in, and now with the bases clear, a chance to kind of start over, if you will. Murphy is 4-1 this season with a 2.67 ERA. She actually leads the team in work, 36.2 innings coming into this game. And trying to see here, Mike, this will be her third appearance as a reliever. She does have 5 starts, and this is her 8th appearance overall. She will see at the minimum De Leon, Mar, and Cerverizzo.
And what a job of hitting that time by Jamie Holmes. And the Dolphins started it out with a little small ball, Dave. First, Patricia Holmes chops a ball into the middle of the infield and legs it out for a hit. Then the Dolphins looking to get the run down to second base. Instead, they're able to take advantage of a beautiful bunt by Antoinette Galbo, and they just took off from there. And then Jamie Holmes denied the timeout at the plate, drills the ball over the left field wall for a 3-run homer.
And De Leon, who has joined Holmes for having the only multi-hit games of the day, gets ahead of that one and smokes it foul down the first baseline. De Leon with 2 infield hits, both hit towards third base.
And 4.
Second one going obviously past the third base bag into the outfield, but 2 liners to third base, legged out for hits.
First home run of the year for Holmes, third of the year for the Dolphins. Jamie now with 15 RBIs.
Yeah, and Mike had mentioned going into game 1 that she had 5 straight games with a double, so 6 out of the last 7 games with an extra base hit. And that one was a big one, a 3-run homer for the sophomore. And that one is well outside for a ball, so the count runs 1-2 to Gabby De Leon, who's 2 for 2. Had 2 hits in the first game, the only Dolphin to have a multi-hit game in game number 1, so she's got 4 hits today. Looking to stay hot.
And now all of a sudden, Dave, the Dolphins find themselves with a 4-run lead with just 2 innings remaining. So getting a little late for the Violets, and the Dolphins still looking to add more in their half of the 5th.
And that one is hit up near first base side, giving chase, but unsuccessful at catching up to it with Sacasio, and that's just a long strike for De Leon, so count remains 1-2. As Mike has mentioned, that Dolphins had gone the whole afternoon without a lead, and now this is their first one here in the 12th inning of work for both of these teams. Here comes the pitch. That one's outside for a ball. So Murphy working to her first batter, the count 2-2.
De Leon continuing to battle at the plate as the first base umpire has a word for the pitcher on the rubber, Dave. I'm not sure what he said.
Could have been the labor in between or her stepping off of the rubber. Not quite sure. She's taking a long time to read in, but NYU's catcher getting signs from the dugout. You could tell that's where the delay is happening, Mike, because everybody's kind of looking at Scarlett Murphy, but she's not getting a sign to pitch. And so the count is 2-2 here. De Leon steps back into the batter's box. Now getting the sign is Schmooze. She delivers it, and here comes the pitch. It's well high for a ball, so the count runs full here to De Leon.
She continues to have quality at-bats, Dave, battling back from down in the count 1-2. She's already got a couple of hits and an RBI here in the second game.
And that one is hit on a line towards second. Yamamoto scoops up. The delivery to first is in time. And there is finally one away here in the first against the Dolphins. And that will bring up Allison Marr, who's been motoring along in the pitcher's circle for the Dolphins. She is officially 0 for 1 in this one. She did walk and score back in the 4th inning of play. Her runner scored. Kristen Marr had come in to run for Allison after she had walked in the inning. And Allison takes up high for ball number 1. In the first inning, she made the final out, grounding out back to the pitcher. And that one's too low for a ball, so 2-0. And that one is swung on and fouled straight back. So the first strike on Allison Marr. Count goes to 2-1, and Scarlett Murphy will get ready for pitch number 10 here of her appearance. Here's the pitch, and that one is too low for a ball. So the count now goes to 3-1 on Allison Marr.
Murphy also pitching, Dave, with no sleeves on.
I don't know how they're doing it, Mike. I've got 4 layers on. I am freezing. Here's the pitch, and that one is hit on a line towards right field over the head of Maines as she was backpedaling. Marr will hold at first base, but she's on base for the second time today. And the Dolphins' big inning continues now, a runner at first with 1 out.
Yeah, Marr lined that one off of the bottom of the right field wall. And nice hard line drive that time by Marr, and she'll be on first base with 1 out as the Dolphins offense continues here in the bottom of the 5th.
And Marr will stay on base here as Christina Cerverizzo will come up to bat. Cerverizzo 0 for 2. She did reach via a fielder's choice on a ground ball to third base the last time she was up. She also lined out to third, and she swings through that first pitch, 0-1.
And it's so cold out, Dave. Maybe it's a good idea keeping Allison out at first base. Maybe you can stay a little bit warm here in the bottom of the 5th.
That one's outside for a ball, so the count now goes even at 1-1. Dolphins with 6 runs on 11 hits. Both teams have an error in the game. Here's the pitch, and that one is swung on and fouled straight back. Dolphins with 4 out of their 11 hits coming in this inning. None bigger than Jamie Holmes's line drive home run right underneath the scoreboard in left center field. A 3-run homer. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit into the NYU dugout. No play for the NYU defense. Count remains 1-2 here to Cerverizzo. Had a big 2-run single in game number 1 in CSI's big 6th inning where they scored 4 runs. And that one just getting a piece was Cerverizzo, so she stays alive in the count. NYU won the opener 7-4. Both of these teams came into this doubleheader with identical records, 9-7. NYU now 10-7, and the Dolphins 9-8. That one is swung on and popped up in the air. Now drifting into foul territory, and making the grab was Yamamoto in from second base. And so the Dolphins now down to their final out of the inning.
Yeah, and that was a good play that time by Yamamoto, Dave. We mentioned the wind is whipping a little bit here at the CSI softball complex. She stayed with it. Easier play for the second baseman than the first baseman, Dave, for the second out.
So Cretella, who's 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls, 1 to short and 1 down the first baseline that Sacasio made the play with on her own. Allison Marr is at first base for the Dolphins. Dolphins with 4 runs in this inning have taken a 6-2 lead. Here's the pitch, and that one is fouled, first base side.
Dolphins battling their 6th game, Dave, in 3 days.
Yeah, Dolphins had come into this doubleheader undefeated at home, having won 6 straight here, but NYU spoiled that, but they'd like to finish this homestand with a win. That one came down hard. Right in front of us here. The count now goes to 1-2 as Cretella gives our scorers a laugh here as she sent that one screaming our way. Well high, Cretella sees that one. Two and two is our count here. Scarlett Murphy looks in. There's the delivery, well outside for ball 3. So count runs full now to Cretella. With Ariana Di Benedetto on deck. She's 1 for 2 with an RBI, looking for another turn here. But first, Cretella's payoff upcoming. Here's the pitch. In there for a call, strike 3. No doubt about it. Getting out of the inning is Murphy to keep CSI to 6-2 up in this one. But we head into the final 2 innings of play. The Dolphins have their first lead of the game. It's CSI 6 and NYU 2. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Women's Softball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here. 6th inning of action getting set to get underway. Allison Marr has been sharp here since yielding 2 runs in the top of the 1st inning. The Dolphins have themselves a 6-2 lead thanks in large part, and the insurance in large part, to Jamie Holmes' 3-run home run. Before that, CSI had gone up on an infield hit plus an error on NYU that ended up scoring Patricia Riches on the hit by Antoinette Galbo. And that's where we are here as we get set. NYU down to their final 6 outs here in the 6th and 7th inning. A bitterly cold afternoon. Mike and I get paid double when the weather's under 40. And Mike, what's 2 times 0 again?
0.
All right, yep. Thought that was right. So here we go. Leading off is the number 3 hitter, Carolyn Sacasio. Sacasio is 1 for 2 today. She had a base hit and then was erased on a fielder's choice, and then she grounded up the middle, a ball that went off of Allison Marr's glove and then was cleaned up by Patricia Riches at short.
Yeah, Allison gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first, just 1 hit since for the Violets.
Yeah, and really, Mike, the other part of that is that she's been working very quickly. NYU has been very aggressive at the plate. We've only seen a couple of at-bats really go deep into pitch counts.
Yeah, Ma doing a good job of being around the plate all afternoon long. Violet's going up there and swinging.
And that one is hit right up the middle. It did hit Marr on the foot. The throw by Patricia's is in time, and that's the 2nd time today that Sacasio has grounded out 1-6-3. You don't see that happen all the time.
Yeah, that time it was the leg of Allison Marr that deflected the ball over to Riches, and Riches has been busy all afternoon long, at an assist in every inning but the 4th so far for Patricia.
Claire Stefanelli is 0 for 2. She grounded into a fielder's choice and scored back in the 1st. And then she grounded out to who else? Patricia Riches back in the 3rd. She takes a ball here. 1-0 the count. That one skips in the dirt in front of Holmes, so 2-0 is the count.
Yeah, if you're Allison Marr here, Dave, go right at the batters. Make them earn their way on, especially with nobody on base.
That's one thing that CSI hasn't been able to do, play with a lead and be aggressive here. And that one just hits the corner of the strike zone. So 2-1 now goes the count to Stefanelli.
Nice 2-0 pitch that time by Marr, catching the corner for a strike.
That one's well inside for a ball, so the count goes to 3-1. Mara has not walked anybody this afternoon. She's been very good about keeping her walks down. I mean, she does have 19 and 43 innings of work, but you do the math, it's less than one every couple of innings, and that one is well high for a ball, ball four. So she lost her on the base on balls, and that will bring up the very hot-hitting Mary Tyndall up at bat, playing third base in this one. Tyndall's been on base every single time here this afternoon. In this game, too, she's officially 1 for 2. She reached via error in the first inning and then singled up the middle her last time up. And that one's in there for a strike.
Yeah, and Tyndall has the only base hit off of Moss since the first inning. And Stefani down at first base, only the second base runner for the Violets since that first inning.
Yeah, and she was stranded at third base the last time. And that one is hit on the ground to short. Riches steps on the bag at second, makes the throw to first in time. And so Tyndall out 6-3, double play turned by the Dolphins. NYU will be down to their final 3 outs. Dolphins will get a turn here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead NYU 6-2. Stay with us. You are watching CSI Women's Softball here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Welcome back here. Bottom of the 6th inning action here between the CSI Dolphins and the NYU Violets. NYU won game 1 7-4, and CSI looking to get even. They lead NYU here 6-2. Ariana DiBenedetto, the number 9 hitter for the Dolphins, will lead off. She's 1 for 2 today. She grounded to third base, and then she scored an infield hit her last time up, an RBI as well. The game-tying RBI back in the 4th inning. And she will take ball 1 here. This is her first turn against NYU reliever Scarlett Murphy. And that one's up high for a strike. Gets in that strike zone here. 1-1 will be our count. Cassie Peroulis did the pitching for NYU prior to Murphy coming into the game. That one spoiled straight back, 1-2. Murphy comes into this game for NYU as the team's leader in innings pitched. She's also 4-1 this season, so could make the case this is the Violets' ace pitcher of the staff as Ariana spoils another one out of play.
Looking ahead, Dave, to the top half of the 7th inning, it'll be 6, 7, and 8. Maines, Shumis, and Yamamoto scheduled to bat for the Violets.
And that one is a swung on and miss for strike number 3. So the Dolphins here down on strikes with their first hitter. They'll send it back to the top of the order to give them a start. Murphy has fanned the last 2 Dolphin batters, and now Riches will step up. Had her first hit of this game, too, her last at bat. An infield hit that kind of found open territory between the pitcher's circle and second base. Yamamoto gave it a good run. Couldn't get there. That one hit sharply towards short. Clemens scoops, and the delivery to Scasio in time. So 1 pitch now, 2 outs, as the Dolphins down to their final out here in the bottom half of the 6th. They'll bring up Antoinette Galbo.
Yeah, it was Galbo who laid down that bunt trying to get Riches over to second base. She did such a great job. She ended up getting a hit. The Violets threw the ball wide, and the Dolphins took off from there.
2 for 3 officially. And that one swung on and fouled sharply down the first baseline. Galbo singled to center field that just caught the lip of the infield. She ended up scoring, struck out swinging, and then, of course, as Mike mentioned, the bunt base hit ended up scoring on Jamie Holmes' home run, and that one is swung on high in the strike zone for strike 2. So 0-2 now the count to Galbo.
Yeah, Galbo struck out on that high off-speed pitch in the 3rd inning. Now falls behind in the count 0-2.
And if Murphy has that pitch in her arsenal, you might see it here. Whale high, but Galbo will not offer and goes to 1-2. Vanessa Joy is on deck. She singled her last 2 at-bats. She's 2 for 3. Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Murphy. Swung on and hit high in the air, maybe trailing in foul territory. Stays fair, but making the catch there with plenty of time is Clemens. So a pop up to shortstop to end the 6th inning of play. And so NYU down to their final 3 outs here. Allison Marr will take the field, looking to claim the win. CSI up by 4. Stay with us. 7th inning action coming up next. Welcome back here, the top of the 7th inning. NYU down to their final 3 outs. They are down by 4 runs here to the CSI Dolphins. As Mike mentioned last inning, they'll bring up the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here in this inning at the minimum to face Allison Marr. 1 hit between them. That was by Ashley Maines, who will lead off here. She is 1 for 1 with a single and a sac bunt back in the 4th inning. But Allison Marr, Mike, has been crisp. She gave up 3 hits in the 1st inning, only 1 since then, and she's been outstanding.
Yeah, you know, she's only faced 1 batter over the minimum, Dave, since that 1st inning, and that was Mary Tyndall. And Dolphins able to end the 6th inning mini threat by the Violets on the nice double play by Patricia Riches. And Riches has been all over the field, Dave, for the Dolphins defensively in game number 2 and scored the tying run. And Dolphins find themselves 3 outs away from splitting this doubleheader and going 5 out of 6 over the weekend.
Yeah, Dolphins could really use this game here to feel pretty good about themselves. This NYU team beating some good teams of their own and have really been sharp as Marr misses upstairs for ball 1, 1-0. And if you're Ashley Maines here, much like the Dolphins in the last game, just looking to get a start going here. No such thing as a 4-run home run when you're the leadoff hitter, so her job is to get on base. And she takes upstairs for ball 2, so now the count 2-0 on Maines. Singled back in the 1st. Sorry, Mike.
No problem.
That was an infield single that was actually knocked down by Gabrielle DeLeon. And that one is swung sharply down first base, but foul. And then Maines sacrificed back in the 4th inning down the 3rd baseline. So she's yet to hit a ball out of the infield here against Allison Marr. Would like to get a good poke here. And that one is hit right back up the middle to Marr. She fields on the ground, delivers in time to Trapani. And now the Dolphins are 2 outs away from victory as the first batter is retired.
Nice job that time by Marr. She fell behind 2-0, got a good strike, fouled off, and then able to get the slow dribbler 1 up, 1 down for the Violets here in the 7th.
Allison Schmoose, who has grounded twice to 3rd base today. And that one is down low, gets behind Holmes for a ball and skipped off of the home plate umpire.
Boy, cold day to take one off the foot, Dave, in the top half of the 7th of the 2nd game.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those days where you just can't wait to get back to the indoors. Good day to be a viewer on CSI Sportsnet, that's for sure. That one swung on and fouled. 1-1.
I think that one might have went off the home plate umpire as well, Dave.
Yeah. But for those of you who have hung with us all afternoon, we thank you very much. We had our internet connectivity problems back in game one, but we've been pretty much able to bring this one to you error-free here as we are at the mercy of Wi-Fi out here in the CSI softball complex. That one is on the outside corner for a strike, strike two, so the count goes to 1-2. And, you know, we too are exposed to the elements out here, and when you're watching it from home, it looks like a brilliant, gorgeous day out, but it is blisterly cold out here. And that one is swung on and hit weakly towards third base. Galbo scoops, makes the throw in time, and we are 2 away here in the top of the 7th, and NYU now down to their final out.
Then Allison Marr coming out for the Dolphins, leading the team in wins at 5-3, and now just 1 away, Dave, from picking up her 6th win of the year.
Yeah, remember, Allison joined the Dolphins only last year as a first-year sophomore. She hadn't played softball for 2 years before that. So getting back into it and having a pretty good career for herself here in her 2nd year in the Columbia Blue and Black, as that one misses upstairs for ball 1. Yamamoto with a couple of ground outs, 1 to short, 1 back to Allison Marr back in the 4th inning to end that frame. Squares up, and that one is taken for a call strike, so the count goes to 1-1.
Great job by Ma coming out today, falling behind early, but really steadying herself through the later stages of the game.
That one skips low for a ball, 2-1. Both CSI pitchers ran into trouble in the 1st inning of their respective games, but Marr has really settled in nicely, yielding only 1 hit between innings 2 and 7 now. Here's the pitch, and that one smoked right up the middle, just past the glove. Severizzo manages to corral it and keeps Yamamoto at first, but NYU in a little bit of business here. They've got their first base hit from the bottom of the order today. That'll bring up Morgan Clemens.
Yeah, and Clemens batting in front of Diana King, so a big at-bat here for the Violets and for Ma, trying to close this one out here in the 7th.
So NYU only their 2nd hit since the 1st inning, and that one is cut on and hit weakly towards third. Galbo scoops, throw to first in time, and that's the ball game. So the Dolphins able to hang on after falling behind 2-0 at the end of 1/2 inning. They score 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, and then 4 in the 5th. Jamie Holmes with a big 3-run homer, and the Dolphins take game 2, 6-2, after falling in game 1, 7-4.
Yeah, you know, Dave, the Dolphins had their 8-game winning streak come to an end by NYU, but, you know, it was a game they fell behind 6-0, never quit, brought the tying run to the plate in the 6th inning before ultimately dropping the game by a final score of 7-4, but a different story in game number 2. They fell behind 2-0, but were able to work their way back, take the lead on the 3-run homer by Jamie Holmes, and win their 5th of 6 over the weekend.
All right, Mike, Dolphins improve. They go to 10-8 overall this season. As Mike mentioned, they are now winners of 9 out of their last 10 games, and they improved to 10-8 overall and bounce back nicely against NYU after falling in game 1, 7-4. So for Mike Babuski and all of our crew here at Staten Island, I'm David Pizzuto, wishing you a very good rest of the weekend. Enjoy it. We will see you back here on CSI Sportsnet tomorrow afternoon beginning at 3:45 p.m. It'll be the CSI Dolphins baseball team going up against John Jay College for a baseball conference doubleheader. We hope you'll join us tomorrow afternoon. Until then, for everybody here, this is Dave Pizzuto wishing you a very good night. Good night, everybody.